Last episode we signed 2 new players, but we still found ourselves in the bottom half of the table. Today we've got player contracts to sort out, including a big decision on this man's future at the club, youth scouting networks to set up, future incoming transfers to shortlist and scout for, plus a shed load of games to get through as we aim to get to the start of the January transfer window by the end of the episode. And of course, if you're enjoying the series so far, please feel free to like and subscribe, and let's get into it. Now, I mentioned last episode I had the likes of Garnacho, Marcus Rashford, David De Gea and Dalot, all of whom only had 10 months remaining on their contracts. And of course, all 4 of those players are going to be integral to the future of this career mode, so I do want to secure and extend each of those players' contracts. So, I've been able to secure Garnacho an extra 3 years on his, Marcus Rashford also another 3 years, David De Gea 3 years on his contract, Dalot only 2 for him though. Now, Luke Shaw was the one that I was 50-50 on whether I'd extend his contract or sell him in January. However, to my surprise, 62% of you wanted me to extend his contract. Now, I'm not going to lie, I was quite shocked by this. I really thought you'd want me to sell him, but 62% of you have spoken, and Luke Shaw will sign a new 2-year deal at the club to continue his fight at left back with Malacia for the next couple of years. Now, back to some future transfers, and you guys have been a massive help in me shortlisting and scouting players to join the club. Starting off with the left wing position, saying we should sign Rayan Cherki or a big name like Ousmane Dembele. Now, looking at Cherki, I think that's actually a great shout. 19 years of age, 5-star skill moves and weak foot. He's got high attacking work rate as well, and he's actually, as it seems at the moment, got some decent ball control, dribbling and agility and balance. He's definitely one I'm sticking on the shortlist for the future. Dembele was another great shout. Again, 5-star skill moves and weak foot, and of course he has incredible stats to boot. But the problem is, he has moved to Leipzig, and I think it might be a little bit unrealistic if I sign him only 6 months after joining a new club. You definitely need a striker, and signing Patrick Schick or Kai Havertz will be great. I think Patrick Schick is a great shout. 84 rated, 26 years of age, 6'3" with 4-star skill moves, and his stats as well are off the charts. My only slight concern with him, as you can see, he is injury prone, so if I do sign him, especially for such a big fee of potentially around 56 million, will he end up sitting on the bench or sitting in the physios area, being injured all the time? If you're looking for a good striker, I recommend Jonathan David. He'll get the job done. As for a backup winner, maybe Pedro Neto, or for midfield depth, Ruben Neves, Tielemans or Enzo Fernandez. Now, Jonathan David, I bought him on my Newcastle career mode, and he was an absolute monster up front. The same can be said for Enzo Fernandez. I also bought him for Newcastle, and he was a machine in the heart of my midfield. I think Yuri Tielemans, Ruben Neves and Pedro Neto, to be fair, are all great shouts. Pedro Neto in particular, he can play right across the front three, on the left, on the right, and up front as well. And the likes of Yuri Tielemans and Ruben Neves both follow the usual approach from Manchester United in terms of buying up the best talent from other Premier League teams. Thank you all so much for your help and your suggestions as to who I should bring to the club. As you can see from this shortlist, I have a shed load of players, a lot of whom still need scouting. Let me know down in the comments below what you think of this shortlist. Are there any players that I've missed off of it, or are there any specific players on it that you think we should definitely sign? I'm looking to bring in at least 2 to 3 players in the January transfer window. Let me know what you think, and I'll make sure they come to the club in January. Now, the final comment was to make Garnacho a club legend. Now, Garnacho's an interesting one, as I've tried to loan him out in the summer, but had no takers. And as my squad is so small at the moment, he found himself on the bench and even made his first start of the season against Liverpool. Now, long term, I do see him as part of the squad, and I've changed his development plan to try and improve his growth, and you can see I've also given him a contract extension as well. However, as I'm looking to make some more attacking signings in January, I reckon his game time might reduce in the second half of the season, so I'd like to try and get him out on loan again, but make no mistake, he is part of my long-term plan on this career mode. Now, I mentioned I've got a shed load of games that I want to get through this episode, and that means I am going to sim about a month's worth of fixtures, starting off with a 3-1 cup win against Bournemouth. We then follow that up with a 1-1 draw in the league to Crystal Palace. Frustratingly, we end up losing 3-2 in the Europa League to FC Cluj. However, we get back on track with a 3-1 thumping of rivals Leeds. A 2-0 win against Newcastle is enough to secure our first back-to-back league victories. 2 goals against PAOK is enough to get us back on winning terms in the Europa League. We follow that up with a 2-1 league win against Fulham and a 3-1 win in the Carabao Cup against Luton Town. Finally, in October, we finish off with with a 1-0 win against West Ham United, and we go back to the Europa League for another 2-goal victory against PAOK. And in spite of the surprise loss against FC Cluj, we still find ourselves top of our Europa League group, 9 points after 4 games. And a series of much better results in the Premier League mean we've been able to drag ourselves up into 5th place, the final European spot, and we are level on points with Chelsea in 4th, but we do have a game in hand. And as we are a third of the way through the season, I did just want to check the stats to see how the players are getting on, and as you can see, Bruno Fernandes, to my surprise, 13 goals in 16 games. He's got 9 goals in 10 Premier League appearances. What a fantastic return from him in central midfield. And his other midfield partner, Jude Bellingham, has only chipped in with 4, but he is still our second highest goal scorer, and it is a decent return for the 19-year-old who's just joined. And as you can see, he has already got up by 1 rating to 85. Anthony has chipped in with 3. I've got Marcus Rashford, who's gone up by 2 ratings. He's chipped in with only 2. Christian Eriksen as well, he's chipped in with 2 overall. And then the likes of Casemiro, Jadon Sancho, new signing Malo Gusto, and also other new signing Mark Guéhi, and even Garnacho as well, have finally chipped in with 1 goal apiece. So overall, bit of a surprise in terms of the player stats so far in this season. And if we scroll right the way back up, Bruno Fernandes, what a sensational start to the season for him. One thing I am slightly concerned about is this man, Marcus Rashford, and whilst he is our 4th highest scorer this season, he has only scored 2 goals in 15 games, and he scored no goals in the Premier League at all. Now, I am playing him as a sole striker in a front 3, but for some reason, he's just not quite hitting the heights that I expected him to this season. So let me know down in the comments what you think. How can I improve the form of this man, Marcus Rashford? Is it a change in formation to maybe give him a strike partner? Do I need to change his development plan to maybe mix that up a little bit? I don't quite know. Let me know in the comments below what you think. How can I get Marcus Rashford back to his best? Now, speaking of comments, one big thing I did ask in the last episode was help setting up my youth scouting network. Now, the general consensus was pretty much to send scouts to South America, predominantly focused on technically gifted and attacking players. So I'm doing that for both Brazil and for Argentina. And of course, finally, I'm then going to set up my 3rd slot, of course, to focus in England, and of course, to focus on physically strong players as well. For now, though, we go back to the football and we go back to the Premier League for a game against Wolves, and I kind of wish we hadn't, as we succumbed to a 3-1 loss at home to Wolves. A goal from that man, Bruno Fernandes, the man of the moment, not enough. Wolves stick 3 past us, and we drop a massive 3 points. We get back on track away at Leicester, though. 3 goals from Sancho secure his first hat-trick of the season, and a win once again for us, 3-2 against Leicester City. And a 3-1 win away from home in the Europa League, courtesy of 2 goals from Jude Bellingham and a late goal from Martinez, means that we will go through to the next round of the Europa League, and we will top our group. In other news, I mentioned at the start of the episode that I offered this man Alejandro Garnacho a new contract, as he's in my long-term plans, but I wanted to get him out on loan. And fortunately enough, Besiktas have come in for a short-term loan for him, and so therefore in January he will be leaving the club and going out on loan for some much-needed regular first-team football. And to be fair, with his departure in January, it makes it even more important that we make the right signings and we get some new faces through the door. For now, though, we go back to Old Trafford for the first game we're actually going to play this episode, and what a Premier League game it is. A home game against Tottenham Hotspur. And this is my starting 11. David De Gea in goal, Dalot at right back, Varane in centre back, and Martinez comes in for Harry Maguire after a series of terrible performances in the last episode. Luke Shaw starts at left back, Casemiro, Jude Bellingham and Bruno Fernandes in midfield, and of course Anthony, Marcus Rashford and Jadon Sancho start up front. Charleston for Spurs looks for Kulusevski out wide, but he gives it away to Bruno Fernandes, and we can try and strike a counter-attack here. Rashford picks the ball up. I'm going to try and play this through to Jude Bellingham. It's well intercepted by the Tottenham defence. Anthony to Dalot out wide on the right-hand side. This has been a good start from us. He just tries to dink it in field, looking for Rashford. Made no real attempt to try and win that one. Richarlison leading the line for Spurs here. Lovely ball into Kulusevski. Takes the ball away from Luke Shaw really well, and he powers it past De Gea. Gives him no chance, and just like that, inside the opening 15 minutes, Spurs take the lead. Kulusevski is a man who has made it onto my shortlist for my January signings, and that goal goes to show you why. Lovely build-up play from Richarlison, gave it over to Kulusevski, and he smashed it past the goalkeeper. 1-0 to Spurs here at Old Trafford. Luke Shaw finds himself driving into the centre of the park here, gives it to Jude Bellingham. He can't quite turn away from Sanchez. Lloris has got it, just dinks it clear, with now starting at least to put some pressure on. Casemiro heads it down to Anthony on the right-hand side. He picks it up in space. I'm going to try and dink this ball in. It's a good ball in, but it goes straight into the arms of Hugo Lloris. Kulusevski from Spurs. Nice footwork once again to get away from Shaw for the second time this game, and he drives down this right-hand side. Luke Shaw trying to recover, but he can't quite do it. Kulusevski playing some lovely stuff here. Lovely challenge, though, from Luke Shaw in the end, and we can try and break. Casemiro just gives the ball straight away to Longley. We've been so poor in this opening half an hour, and it's now Ricardo. Is that Ricardo Pereira? I think it is, the former Leicester City man, who picks the ball up and drives into the middle of the park. Bentancur picks it up, looks for Richarlison. He tries to shield the ball, gives it back to Sergi Roberto. Spurs playing some really nice stuff on the edge of my 6-yard penalty area, but we can get the ball clear, and we can now try and launch a counter-attack if we can try and keep hold of the ball, which we can't. Jude Bellingham trying to turn away from Bentancur. He finds Bruno Fernandes now, the man of the hour, our best player so far in this season. Luke Shaw lays it out wide to Sancho on the left-hand side. He dinks a lovely ball in, looking for Anthony. He can't quite find it. He's blocked off by the Spurs defence, but arguably that is our best chance of the game so far. Jude Bellingham picks this one up, looks for Anthony on the right-hand side. Lovely ball to him. Anthony drives down the right-hand side, but he has now picked up an injury from the looks of it. Tried to play it off of, play the ball into the box. Gets blocked off by Sanchez. Referee blows for half-time, and I've got to hope that that is not a serious one for Anthony. And well, the injured sign hasn't actually come up on Anthony when I've gone into the team management, so hopefully we are A-OK. Casemiro finds Bruno Fernandes. He just skips around the challenge of Sergi Roberto really nicely, lays it into Casemiro. Casemiro tries to play a ball back into Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes strikes with his left. Good save from Hugo Lloris. Sergi Roberto into Bentancur, who finds himself in an advanced position. He tries to dink one over the top to Heung-min Son. Dalot trying to put a brakes on him, but he can't quite do it. Richarlison picks it up, tries to just dink it over De Gea. It's an audacious chip from there, and it goes straight into the arms of De Gea. Heung-min Son looking for an option ahead of him. He's got Richarlison on his right-hand side, doesn't choose to use him, instead just tries to knock it past my defence. Varane blocks him off really nicely though. Casemiro into Bruno Fernandes. He's definitely been my best player so far in this game, and he's got acres of space and time to strike. Blazes it over the bar though. Christian Eriksen gives it to Anthony. Anthony looks for Martial. I've gone 4-4-2 here in some sort of effort to try and counteract Spurs and try and see if we can get a goal, but we can't. Martial just overruns it, and Spurs can escape with the ball. It's Kulusevski down this right-hand side. Malacia, the substitute, on for Shaw, trying to track him down, but it just runs straight past him. Richarlison into Sergi Roberto, who's got into the box somehow, and instead of shooting, tried to play it across, and Varane was on hand to put a block in. Going to be a Kulusevski corner, and he's going to try and put it in the box, looking for Christian Romero, and it's an audacious volley. Second time Spurs have tried something that audacious, and once again it didn't come off for them. We are running out of time here at Old Trafford, and what a challenge from Bentancur, and the referee's blown the whistle. I thought we were going to get a free kick for that, but we are not. Game over here at Old Trafford, and it's another loss. It finishes 1-0 to Spurs here, and this is going to do our Champions League hopes absolutely no good. And it really hasn't. 13 games played, and we find ourselves in 7th. Aston Villa have managed to climb above us into 6th. 21 points on the board. Fortunately enough, we are only 3 points behind Chelsea in 4th, but we really need to pick ourselves up. Only 6 wins so far, 3 draws, 4 losses, and the January transfer window can't come soon enough. We've got some games to get through before we can get to that though, starting off with a 2-0 win against Bournemouth in the league. Aston Villa managed to edge out a 1-0 win against us to give them the upper hand in this Champions League fight. We follow that up with a 1-1 draw against FC Cluj in the Europa League, and finally we get back to winning ways in the league, a 3-2 win against Southampton. It's off to North London now though for a very interesting game against an Arsenal team who are also fighting for that Champions League spot along with us. And due to some fatigue, I have had to make some changes to my starting 11. David De Gea, of course, keeps his place in goal. Gusto starts at right back. Gay and Maguire start in the centre with Malacia on the left-hand side. Scott McTominay, Christian Eriksen and Bruno Fernandes start in midfield. Anthony, Marcus Rashford and Garnacho all start up front. Malacia on the left-hand side. Nice ball into Bruno Fernandes. A lovely turn. Gives it to McTominay, who finds himself in an advanced position. Marcus Rashford. Brilliant opening goal. Has he managed to stay on side? Yes, he has. A lovely finish after some brilliant build-up play between Fernandes and Scott McTominay. And that man is the man who I've been trying to get some better form out of, and just when I needed him to, he stepped up, smashed it past the goalkeeper, and we lead here 1-0 at the Emirates. Gabi Jesus into Odegaard. Odegaard now trying to go past Gay. He can't quite find a room round him, and that is some brilliant defending from the new signing. He can now try and release Bruno Fernandes, who drives up the midfield now. Plays in Garnacho on the left-hand side. Garnacho's going to look for an option in here. Just dinks it back across, looking for Anthony. Almost got there on the volley. What a goal that would have been, but it's Eriksen who picks it back up. This is much better play from us. Scott McTominay driving into the box. Can he try and find a ball across? No, he can't. Off for a corner. Bruno Fernandes will be the man to take this corner. Dinks it into the box, looking for the head of Anthony. Can't quite find it. Garnacho picks it back up. Looks for Bruno Fernandes once again. He's going to try and whip it back into the box. It was a good ball, but once again, we can't get our head on it. Malacia picks it up though. Malacia ends up giving the ball away to Sambi Lokonga. Bruno Fernandes looks down the left-hand side to Garnacho, who takes that one really nicely. Garnacho looking for someone in the box, can't find anyone. Dinks it in, looks for Anthony. Was that Anthony? It was Eriksen in the end, but the goalkeeper gets there before him. Eriksen, nice play into Scott McTominay, holds it up really nicely, looking for Fernandes, but it's Garnacho who picks it up. Garnacho into Rashford, turns really nicely away from the defender. Great save from Ramsdale. Fernandes once again with a corner. It's been all Manchester United in this first half. I'm not sure who that was. I think it might have been... I don't know, was it Rashford who went for a bit of an audacious volley there, but we pick it up again into Emile Smith-Rowe. He's held up by Maguire, and that's really good stuff from Bruno Fernandes. Into Garnacho on the left-hand side. It's been all Manchester United so far in this game. Garnacho, though, looks for Malacia. Out on the left-hand side, he whips a ball in. I think Fernandes had just drifted offside as the referee blows for half-time. Christian Eriksen looks for Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford can see the run of Bruno Fernandes, and that is off the bar. Oh, that is unbelievable. That would have been a sensational goal. Correa brings it forward, looks for Granit Xhaka, who finds himself in an advanced position. Gabi Jesus has it. I've got to try and block off the run of Xhaka, but in the end, Gabi Jesus just drives forward, and what a goal from Gabi Jesus to bring Arsenal back on level terms here from one end to the other. What a miss earlier from Bruno Fernandes, and Gabi Jesus makes us pay. Garnacho goes over the top. Lovely ball into the path of Malacia. Can he try and dink this across first time? No, he can't. He's held up by Zinchenko. Tomiyasu gets it away to Gabriel. He dinks it forward. Can we get there ahead of the defender? Yes, we can. It's Marcus Rashford. Oh, great defending from Gabriel. Garnacho picks it up, though. He's been all over the place in this game. Ball over the top, looking for Christian Eriksen, and he just couldn't get his head on it. Garnacho again picks this one up. He's been sensational so far in this game. Malacia on the left-hand side whips a lovely ball in, looking for Anthony. Again, couldn't find him. Arsenal, though, really struggling as McTominay looks for the volley. Lashed at that one and didn't really connect with it particularly well, and Arsenal just about bundle this ball clear. Gusto wins it in the air though. McTominay, we're keeping up the pressure here. Bruno Fernandes to strike. It's blocked. Corner. Fernandes with the corner again, looking for the substitute. Martial. It's an overhead kick off the line. Unbelievable stuff. It's bundled away again. Arsenal living vicariously here. Somehow it still remains 1-1, and now Arsenal can try and break here. It's Malacia tracking back. Great defending. Thomas Partey into Correa. Correa's got the pace to get away from Harry Maguire. Lays it back into Gabi Jesus, and he balloons it over the bar. There's just under 2 minutes remaining in this game. Surely this is going to be the last chance. Garnacho into Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes to strike. Oh, it's just wide, and the referee blows the whistle. Unbelievable. What a finish to the game that would have been if Bruno Fernandes, could find the back of the net. He couldn't though, and it finishes here 1-1. And to be fair, we got to count ourselves so unlucky. For me, we dominated that game. We deserve more, but we couldn't get it. Full time, 1-1. And we're going to finish off this episode with back-to-back games, starting off with a 3-0 home win against Everton, courtesy of 2 goals from Anthony, with a Jude Bellingham goal sandwiched in between. Newcastle United, though, knock us out of the Carabao Cup. Our first chance of silverware this season, gone. Bruno Fernandes missed a penalty in the 55th minute, a late Rashford goal, not enough, and Newcastle go through to the next round of the Carabao Cup. We are out. And Bruno Fernandes has gone and missed another penalty, this time in the 30th minute away at Nottingham Forest. Anthony gets a goal in the 58th minute, but it's not enough for the win. We share the points, 1-1. We finally get back to winning ways though, a 3-1 away win against Bournemouth, courtesy of goals from Jude Bellingham, Malacia and Garnacho to give us a much needed 3 points. I don't know what on earth is going on though. Bruno Fernandes misses his 3rd penalty in 4 games as we share the points with Spurs in our last game of this episode. 3-3. Sancho getting on the score sheet twice. Malo Gusto getting his goal on the 85th minute. Unbelievable. So at the end of this episode, we find ourselves top of our Europa League group, sailing through to the next round, 13 points in 6 games. However, we find ourselves out of the Carabao Cup at the quarter-final stage, courtesy of a 2-1 loss against Newcastle. The Premier League table reads for slightly better reading though. We've managed to claw our way back up into 5th position, level on points with Chelsea, but this time they have a game in hand. However, the January transfer window is now officially open, and with £184 million to spend, and with a massive shortlist of players to choose from, we will hopefully be making some serious signings in the next episode. As I said, let me know in the comments below, who should I bring to the club, either on this shortlist or anyone else that I've missed out. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching.